Good afternoon, everybody. This is Janice from the William Paterson Alumni Office, and I'm happy to welcome you to today's webinar, How to Be a True Pioneer, presented by William Paterson alum Andrew Faccone. As many of you know, Andrew is a 1989 graduate of William Paterson University, and he has also earned an MBA from the University of Phoenix. During his more than 13-year career at Eli Lilly and Company, Andrew has risen to the rank of Executive Account Specialist. The former WP varsity football team player now serves our Alumni Association as a member of the Alumni Executive Council. Andrew is married to his William Paterson sweetheart, Jill Howell. Together, the couple has two beautiful children, Juliana and Andrew. And in today's webinar, Andrew is going to inspire all of us to achieve our personal and professional goals in 2014. And before I let Andrew start, I just want to go over some housekeeping rules with all of you. Please bear with us because this is the first time our technical team has assembled to do a webinar for you. So you may hear some back talk and some stage directions in the background, but we're going to do our very best to deliver a smooth and technically precise webinar for you. You will be able to see the presentation that Andrew has prepared on your computer screen. We ask that you mute your microphones throughout the presentation. However, if you do have questions, you can type them in on the question line, which is on the control panel located on the right side of your screen. And if you want to mute your microphone the way we've asked, you'll see on the control panel on the right-hand side, the top button there is a little mic, which you just click on it, please, so it's not green. If it's gray, that means your mic is muted. We will pause occasionally as questions come in and present the questions to Andrew, who will have great answers for you. Any questions that aren't answered in today's webinar will be addressed after the webinar is completed, and all attendees will receive answers to these questions along with a certificate of completion after the webinar is over. So I hope that you enjoy today's presentation, and without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Andrew Faccone, who will present How to Be a True Pioneer.
Janice, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. Hello to everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time and gain some insights. And as Janice says, the name of the presentation is How to Be a True Pioneer. It's great that we've got wonderful attendance today. And what's even better, we're ahead of this impending storm that's coming upon us. So we'll definitely be able to get this in and also be able to take questions from everybody regarding your questions about some of the things that maybe you've wanted to do or ultimately would like to try and achieve. And I think the key point of this presentation is hopefully when everybody is done with this, we're going to be able to take away what is our action and what are we hoping to accomplish after hearing some of these various talking points around becoming that true pioneer. So we'll jump into the presentation right now. And okay, for full screen. There. Show my screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, this is what we're talking about. Okay, so now the screen, and we go down to the bottom here.
Good to go.
Oh, press again. Press it again. Bear with us. Okay, and then we can. Yep. Right there. Okay. So, who were the pioneers? And according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the pioneers were the first people to settle on the frontiers of North America. They came from many places in the United States to start their new lives. Secondly, a group or a person or a group that originates or helps open up a new line of thought, activity, or new method of technical development. Thirdly, it's a person who helps create or develop new ideas. Now, the reason why I bring that up, this is something that all of us who have attended here, and even those of us that work here right now in this room, we are all pioneers in one way, shape, or form. We came from our homes, from different parts of the state, from parts outside of the state, to learn new things, to gain an education. And what we were able to develop here during our time here at William Paterson, for those of us that remember it when it was a college, we gained our insight, which we have then been able to take on out into the professional world. We were pioneers because we were able to leave where we started You find out new things, and I think many of us, and I know a lot of the people that are on this right now, are of that same mindset, leaving their homes. I was the first one from my home to go to college and graduate, and many of the people that I was able.
Muted. Unmuted.
All right. Should I go back?
If you want to just.
Yep. Okay, we just had a little bit of a problem there, folks. These are the technical difficulties, but just to briefly go over this, and this may not have been heard by everyone, just bear with me, please. The pioneers were the first people to settle on the frontiers of North America, and they came from many places in the United States to start their new lives. The pioneers were a person or a group that originates to help open a new line of thought, activity, or a new method of technical development. A pioneer is a person who helps create or develop new ideas or methods. Now, one of the things that I just said before, and if you read this, here's the explanation. All of us have many things that were in common during our time here for our undergraduate or our graduate careers at William Paterson. Many of us were the first people to leave our homes, to go to college. I was one of those. I was the first person in my family that was able to graduate from college. We came from many different backgrounds, and what we sought to do here while at William Paterson was develop a new thought or gain technical skills, which have then been able to help us in our professional careers where we are presently. And that person who helps create or develop those new ideas, I think many of us, we were and still are pioneers because of the things that we had done. As I said before, this is our alma mater. This is one of the earliest pictures of William Paterson when it first started, better known as the Paterson Normal School. And then also the picture on the right shows Hobart Manor. Hobart Manor looks a little different right now, as I went past it earlier in the week, and it's covered with a significant amount of snow, with some more snow ready to fall upon us with this impending storm. The first pioneer, this man, I know many of you that I've spoken with, I can speak very familiarly about William Paterson, but this is the man, the myth, and the person who our university is named after. The one and only William Paterson. He was born, as you see, December 24th, 1745. He was an immigrant from Northern Ireland, and he came to the United States at the age of 2. He died on September 9th, 1806 at age 61. Had an accident from a fall off of a horse. His education occurred at the original College of New Jersey, which is now known as Princeton University, the class of 1763. His father also attended Princeton University as well. So one of the similarities that you may know of this, Princeton is orange and black. We are orange and black. He was a Federalist and a supporter of the Constitution and a decentralized form of government. He was a lawyer, a Patriot delegate, member of the Continental Congress, the Attorney General of New Jersey. He was the governor of New Jersey, a New Jersey senator, an associate U.S. Supreme Court justice from 1793 to 1806. And as it states here, he is the signer of the U.S. Constitution. He was the first person from the state of New Jersey to sign the Constitution. And the other people that signed were Richard Stockton, William Brearley, and I'm drawing a blank on the third person, but he was the first person to sign the U.S. Constitution for the United States, and was also very good friends with General George Washington, who later became the President of the United States. Here's some interesting things regarding our university and the demographics which we all relate to. It was founded in Paterson in 1855. Currently, give or take, there's 11,500 full and part-time students here at the university, 1,150 full-time employees, and over 400 faculty members. 13 NCAA intercollegiate sport programs here, football being one of them, 250 undergraduate / graduate programs are available for various study. Here's one of the things that's really interesting. Class size here at the university is 19 students to every one faculty member. So many times if you've seen huge lecture halls and one professor teaching to many students, there's a very good size here, so the student is not going to get lost in a sea of other students. The cost currently, $11,918 in-state, $19,458 for those coming out of state. With room and board, it's roughly $10,700. And as I stated, how times have changed. Many of us went to school here when it was half that, and even some of us that are on that have students that are currently attending and they're paying that. So times have definitely changed. What's really interesting, we have 67,653 active William Paterson alumni attending. We need more of you to become more involved with the university, and that's something that you can reach out to Janice Schwartz here at the alumni office, because we need our alumni to come back to become involved so that we can continue what we're doing here at the university. Our pioneer background and our reason for attending William Paterson. Now, many of us attended the university when it was a college for several different factors. One, location within the state. Many of us knew friends, family, and alumni who previously attended, and we maybe heard many of the stories of when they went to William Paterson or that school on the hill. Also, the field of study offered both undergraduate and graduate programs drew us to here. Our economic backgrounds, ranging from lower to middle and upper middle class, regarding our parents and the money that they had allowing us to attend. 13 NCAA Division III athletic programs. Most importantly, the affordability and the cost of attending the university was probably the biggest straw. And I know that was a conversation that I had with my parents, what they could afford, what I can contribute, and the program and the athletics. That was my reason for attending William Paterson. Past and present pioneer attributes. And as I said, we all came from different locations, different towns within the state, outside of the state of New Jersey. We came here to find a new way to prepare ourselves for a better way forward. Many of us were the first members of our families to pursue different paths and graduate from college. We all faced numerous challenges during our collegiate career, but the end result was well worth it, and the sacrifices that we all endured to get to graduate from the university. Our similar financial backgrounds influenced our decisions to attend, and the majority of us worked part-time while attending school on a full-time basis. And I think that's also one of the other things that's helped many of us moving forward because of the foundation that we had built here. Going to school and maintaining grades was one thing, but then going to school and working because we had to, I know I did, that was even more of a challenge. But being able to balance two of those things has helped me, and I know it's helped many of you in your current professional careers moving forward. We've been able to balance two things at the same time. We all personify the qualities of ambition, determination, leadership, a strong work ethic, toughness. We all have achieved varying levels of personal and professional success. And that's one of the things that I've known with many of the people that I've talked to that I was friends with here at the university. I still continue to be friends with, and also the people with the various things that I'm still involved with the university on the alumni executive committee, and then also still involved with the football program. That strong work ethic and that toughness and that ability to drive through has been something that has blessed us all in our professional careers. And I'm sure something that we've given to our children as well. I like this picture here, Albert Einstein, and this is something that I've said numerous times, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And this now starts to lead into what we're trying to achieve here. You know, at times, because of what we're doing in our personal and our professional careers, there's many challenges that we're all facing. But at times, we do the same thing over and over again, and we're thinking it's going to be a different result when if you just change things in the ever so slightest of ways, that's when big results can happen, and more importantly, breakthroughs and personal and professional growth can occur. how do we create this lasting change? And this is something, the word change itself draws a lot of nervousness and a lot of can I do it? Anxiety. Many people are really scared by change because we all settle into a routine. We're trying to constantly keep up with the way things are. I think change is something that we need to embrace more and more importantly push through if we're going to see changes and ultimately expand our range both personally and professionally. We're all affected by many different commitments that are in our present daily lives. Work, work-related commitments, work that comes home with you at the end of the night. We had homework as undergrads and graduate students when we were in school. How many of us deal with homework on a nightly basis? And it seems that the emails and the cell phones were always available. Well, why does that happen? And I think one of the things that we have to be constant of or committed to is to set up boundaries because work's one thing, and then we eventually have to put it down. Because, as I said numerous times, if you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're never going to get everything done. You need to put up starting times and ending times just for your own sanity. And more importantly, you run the cell phone and the email. It shouldn't be the other way around. Husbands, wives, relationships, family, friends. We're all given 24 hours a day. How much time out of that 24 hours do you get? More importantly, out of that 24 hours, how do you make that happen that you can get the small sliver of time? And if you're not getting it, how has this happened? How do you need to change this so that you do get some of the time?
So, Andrew, I have a question here for you. Did you belong to any groups or organizations at William Paterson College, when it was a college, that impacted your college career?
Yes, I did. This was a conversation that we had earlier. Two organizations. I was a member of the football team here at the college, now the university. I played for 4 years. I made some great friends. But the one thing that really molded my life football wise was the preparation and the commitment that I had to put to doing my responsibilities as a football player. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the athletics at a Division III school, there's no scholarships given. The people that were out there were playing because of love and passion for the game. And I've said numerous times to many people that I've come across with, the lessons and the many of the insights on what I've done in my life, I learned on the football field, in the practices and in the games. There were wins, there were losses, but many of those being able to stay true to your word, following through on commitment, and also the requirements that were needed to participate, to stay eligible, as well as contributing to my academic career. That was something that I was involved with, and if it wasn't for the football team, I wouldn't be where I am right now, personally and professionally. I was also a member of Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity. I was a founding father here. I was eventually vice president of the fraternity, and also the friends, the relations, and the people that I was able to know, and I still know, and I still talk to now, um, have very much impacted my life. And it's we're here for a very, very short time, but the groups and the activities, from the smallest to the largest, these are the things that round out or season you as a student. You may not realize it now while attending or when you did attend, but when you look back on the things that you participated in, the friendships that you made, and what you were able to do with those friendships after leaving the university, that's what makes it that much more special. But those are the things that definitely impacted my life and have really driven my work ethic and how I approach things. I kind of have an athlete's mentality or an athlete's approach to things, even now with the stuff that I'm involved with here at the university. Okay. Any other questions? Please type those in. There's no such thing as a bad question. I'd be more than happy to answer anything that anybody's asking. But I hope that was able to meet. Hope that answer was what you were looking for. Next. Now, the first ingredient for change. Many of you may be familiar with the book Think and Grow Rich. And this was a book that was written in 1937, and it was a motivational personal development book, a self-help book written by Napoleon Hill. With the technology that we have right now, There are various copies of this on the internet for free. You can get the book for free on iTunes. You can also get it in an iPod version, which I have on my iPod, and I listen in my car quite a bit. And what's really interesting about this book, Napoleon Hill went to several different people and talked about Henry Ford and how he developed the Ford Motor Company. Spoke to Thomas Edison on how he eventually developed the National Broadcasting Company and what really drove these individuals, Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, some other names that you'll be very familiar with, but the story behind them was really described very well in this book by Napoleon Hill. And if you think about it, in 1937, there wasn't too much motivation going on. The United States was deep into the Depression. People weren't working, and looking at a book such as this, it's approximately 150 pages in softcover version. The iPod book, or excuse me, the book that's available, the audiobook on the iTunes for your iPod, that's a mouthful, is available, and that's about 2.5 hours in length. But what was interesting about this book, the philosophy taught in the book can be used to help people succeed in any line of work to do almost anything that they want. And if you haven't read it, I recommend it. And one of the key things that they talk about this book is a secret element that is resonated numerous times, and it's approximately 120 times listed in the book. Without giving away the ending, the book, what they talk about in the book is desire. All of the people, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, um, Andrew Carnegie, all of these people had an unquenchable desire. Keeping this constantly in your mind, and as it says in the books, weak desire brings weak results. Just as the small fire makes a small amount of heat, and that came directly out of the book. And also, there's the website, goodreads.com. You can get a PDF version of that as well. And the reason why I say desire, once you put something to your mind, and not just I'm going to do it, but really do it and take it on and carry it through good, through bad, staying at it, having that desire, you will ultimately be able to make any goal that you set out happen. We think about our careers when we started here at William Paterson. We came in from our high schools, our county colleges, we transferred in from other universities. What was the goal? To get through school, to pay for school, to eventually get through to the next year, to prepare for the next season. We were always chasing a goal. The ultimate goal was to graduate. And most of us did, in fact, do that because that was the goal. The desire was to finish and ultimately achieve the prize of getting the degree, and keeping that desire first and foremost, we made that happen. And you think about many of the things that you've touched in your lives, personally or professionally, be it finding a spouse to get married, getting a new job, buying a house, buying a car. It all starts with, I need to do this. The need to do comes from the desire. And that's the key point that will make any goal that you're looking at happen. The first ingredient for change. Now, as we just said, to want, to wish, to feel, to desire for something. How much will you be willing to sacrifice to attain a stated goal? And the reason why I put this out there, I'll use a classic example, that's something that just happened with me. The organization that I work for is Eli Lilly, and we're a healthcare company located in the state of Indiana. And we recently had a territory change. Now, my current geography, I call on long-term care and assisted living and semi-skilled nursing facilities. So people upon discharge out of the hospital are sent to these various facilities to get rehabilitation care and ultimately, if they can, go home to a home setting to take care of themselves or preserve quality of life and keep them in a skilled nursing setting. I had one account that I was dealing with, and we were trying to get a certain project done. My current supervisor told me to see this project through. The project was occurring in Cherry Hill, which is just outside of Philadelphia. From my house, approximately an hour and 25 minutes. There was another part in this situation that was occurring at a pharmacy located in North Jersey in Roselle, just south of Elizabeth. I took this account on in July, and on a weekly basis, and you can ask my wife and some of my friends that I shared this with, I was going back and forth like a ping pong ball trying to get A done at facility and then feedback to the pharmacy with B results. And then B would turn into C, tell the facility something, they would tell me something. I eventually was able to get the stated goal done. Now, approximately 4 months into this, I was thoroughly disgusted, not too happy with it, and very frustrated. But keeping that desire, keeping that ultimate goal in mind, knowing that I was going to overcome the current situation and get the desired result to occur, I was able to pursue it, persevere, and ultimately get it done. Now, I say that because many of us are facing challenges at work regarding performance, regarding interactions with coworkers, with different things. This is the way we have to take it, having a desire and being able to go through the goods as well as the bads, and sometimes the bads outweigh what goes on so that you ultimately can achieve that goal. Now, what is something that you have wanted to do or change in your current situation? What has prevented you from achieving that goal? What would you be willing to do to achieve that stated goal? Now just think about that. We've all wanted to do something from the smallest of goals to the largest of goals. Think about the statement. What has prevented you from achieving that? Was that goal really important enough? Were you just saying something that you wanted to buy something, you wanted to go somewhere, you wanted a position, you wanted to go back to school? It could fall into any one of those selections. What has prevented you from achieving that goal? More importantly, you have the goal, but are you willing to do what you need to do to achieve that goal? We think of the new year, right? January 1, New Year's resolutions. Everybody states what they want to do, right? Everyone is hot, committed, and then by the end of the week or 2 or 3 days later, it's a forgotten thought. We're back to the old habits. Something that I learned from a person who sold insurance told me, to be successful, you have to do something 7 times, and then on the 8th time, you'll have the breakthrough. This also pairs with the analogy of doing something in a 21-day period. So now as you're trying to change a habit, 6th time, 7th time, 8th time you have a breakthrough, that would usually occur in a 21-day period. It takes 21 days of little changes in your behavior to ultimately change what you're doing and achieve a new goal. Focusing your efforts on 1 or 2 goals will be much more productive than giving a mediocre effort to a dozen goals. And I think we're all enslaved to the writing down on a legal notepad or writing down on note cards 10 or 20 things for a shopping list. Has anybody fell prey to that in the room here as we're talking? Right? We have bold plans. We're going to do all of these things. And then at the end of the day, you have a headache. You didn't get anything accomplished. And the list is now bigger because 3 or 4 other things occurred during the day. Focusing the efforts on that goal, 1 or 2 goals, will make you more productive and ultimately help you achieve those goals. When we're writing a goal, we almost have a finish line in the form of we're going to start on X today, we're going to finish by Y next week, next month, 3 months, but they must be specific. And this would go to anything. One of the things that I'm currently involved with, that I'm involved in personally, is a different situation with my exercise and diet. And at times, it's been very difficult because now you have family, children, sporting activities, because I'm also involved with coaching my son's basketball team as well as my daughter's softball team with her off-season workouts. So now you're trying to take care of work, children, try to get some sleep, and then the never-ending work commitments that are going on. So this is where your desire and keeping those 1 or 2 goals in mind so that you can ultimately achieve them and move the process forward. And it's all right if you set out a goal and you fall short on the goal. We're human. Things happen. And unfortunately, we all live very, very complicated lives with many moving parts and many commitments that are in them. If you fell short on Tuesday, here's Wednesday. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. You just restate the goal and you get back on the horse. That's the way that you would ultimately go to achieve your goal. Making it happen. State the goal and commit to achieving that goal. You're going to begin it, as we stated, on X day, and you're going to complete it by Y. Right now, one of the things that I hope everybody's thinking about is, what are you going to do as soon as you get off this web conference to ensure that you're going to begin to making those steps to achieving the goal that you're thinking about? From becoming more organized, exercising, thinking about school, just giving yourself 15 minutes of quiet time daily so that you can think. With all of the different activities we're involved in, both personally and professionally, how much quiet time do you get where you're able to actually think and process something that I'd like to do this, I'd like to read, I'd like to take a nap, whatever. You need to allow that time to begin. So one of the questions that I have for everybody right now is, what are you going to do that's going to start that process to ensure that you're going to begin making the steps to achieve your goal? It can be a little goal, it can be a huge goal, but it's ultimately on you. What are you going to do? Because the action will create the steps to ultimately making that goal become a reality. Do we have any questions so far coming in? I guess I'm wowing everybody with this presentation. So now, state, commit, and achieve. It's up to you. As I just stated, what are you going to do to achieve what you thought was once attainable? 1 to 3 goals, no more. Keeping things short and sweet will ultimately help you achieve that goal. Stay away from mediocre, move towards, achieve, and set another. And one of the things that you need to do in regards to taking the steps towards achieving this goal is putting it in little pieces. You may want to start exercising. Okay, so running a marathon or designating a significant amount of money to achieve a membership at a gym may not be the best thing. I'm going to try to walk 3 times in the week. I'm going to try to get up earlier. I'm going to do something right after I get home from work. Make something attainable. And one of the things that so many people get handcuffed by and are almost mystified by is that you set up the rules so that you can win. As I just stated before, I had a busy week with work. Once I get off this web conference, I still have to get to some things regarding the responsibilities I have at work. But what's the goal? What do you want to do? Keeping it in short little pieces. You're not going to have the home run on the first swing. You may, and that would be a plus. If that happens, then you just restate the next goal and move forward. But if you're taking little bites or little chops at that goal, you're ultimately going to be softening it every time, and that's putting you one step closer to ultimately achieving that goal. But I think one of the things that everybody should just be aware of, keeping it 1 to 3, stay on it, just as I did with that experience that I shared from the summer, ultimately seeing that goal at this one customer that I deal with, seeing that through, regardless of the good or the bad, you're ultimately going to be able to attain that goal and then move it on forward to other things. Don't be afraid of the change.
So, Andrew, I do have a question now
Yes.
that's come in. Other than your parents, who in your life has had the most profound impact on who you have become?
Ooh, that's a big question. Several people. I think one of the things that ultimately has impacted my life, this university, first and foremost. I went to the county college for 2 years. I knew that I wanted to go to school. When I came to William Paterson on a visit, I knew that I wanted to go here. And as I stated earlier, the university has helped me in so many ways. It's made me the person that I am, and that's for many of you that know me. I'm a walking billboard for the university. I owe much of my success to this university. If it wasn't for this school, I wouldn't have met my wife, my children, the life that I'm in right now. That would be one of them. John Cray, who was my coach at the time, and some of the other assistant coaches had a significant impact on my life. I think one of the other people that had a significant impact on my life was my first manager, John Emily. And I speak of him very affectionately because he was the person that gave me my first chance professionally to be in the industry that I'm currently in. Right after I graduated from school, I'd worked as a substitute, I coached, and then I was in my own business as well. And that change element was something that I knew I wanted to pursue other and bigger goals. He was the person that gave me the opportunity, taught me a lot of things, and ultimately put me where I am right now. And I think the third person that probably impacted my life would be my wife, because we've been together. If she's listening, I'm going to mess this up. We were college sweethearts. 26 years we've been together. I hope I got this number right. She's probably laughing at me right now, but having her by my side uh, through college, after college, marriage, and to where we are currently, I think those three people had the most significant impact on my life, as well as a lot of great friends that I went through the process with. And if you remember back to the earlier slide, many of us who attended here, we all came from the similar type backgrounds. We were all blue collar kids. We really didn't know a lot. First time we were ever away from home, and we were able to get an education, make some great friendships, and more importantly, learn the tools that we've learned to put us where we are right now. And I guess that's why we're on this webinar right now. So the big question is, oh, I think we have another question coming in.
Why don't you go on and then I'll
Okay.
interject your other question in a little bit.
Here's the other thing. Who's going to commit now? Now, many of you may be on lunch break from work or trying to grab some downtime at work. Did what I say resonate? Did it make an impact? Is there something that you've been thinking about? Is there something that you've scribbled down on a piece of paper in front of you? Is there something that you've been thinking about on the weekends, on your commute to work, in that quiet time? Are you going to commit and make a change to what you've currently been doing? Who's up for that challenge to commit to make that change happen? Janice, you said you have a question?
Yes, I have one more question that says, what personal characteristics should a person have, in your opinion, to help them achieve professional success?
I think there's two things that are needed today in succeeding in the business world. I think we have to have thick skin or a hard head. And I reference a point in a movie, The Godfather, where Michael Corleone's brother Sonny is talking to him, and there was a situation that goes on, and he says, "You're taking this personal. It's business." And I think that's one of the things, because of the dynamics of the way the workplace has changed. There are times where we know people that we interact with. We may be friendly with superiors. We may be friendly with people that are above us. It's still business. And we need to have thick skin. Uh, you can't let someone's action or words impact you. You realize that there's things that are going to go on. We're all going to have bad days. We're all going to have situations that don't go in our favor. But being thick-skinned and hard-headed and being able to see what the ultimate goal is, that will help you achieve personal as well as professional success. And I think one of the other things that's really key to success, being a business owner or in the corporate world, taking ownership. And there's many times where I'm involved with teleconferences, webinars with my employer. There's a project that I'm involved with right now, and one of the directors asked everyone, who wants to do this? And there was silence just as I paused there. The silence was extended significantly. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, who wants to do it? Now, remember, if you're volunteering for something, there's also got to be follow-up, and you got to deliver on the other end of it. And when you're asked to do something, there may be people that are uncomfortable volunteering, doing something, but stretch yourself. Take on that responsibility. That's ultimately going to make you better and ultimately going to show your leadership qualities. So taking that sense of ownership, because there's so many people that are passive and they're just willing to take the back seat. With what we're currently doing, there's no direction book. There's no guide on how to do something. Those of us that step forward and create a new way and do something a little differently, that's how change comes about. That's how many of the great things that are currently going on in our society. Think of the electronics, the way things are going on. Did we ever think 20 years ago that there wouldn't be record stores? You get everything online. You go to the iTunes store. Steve Jobs said we could do something differently. Read books, find out different things about what leaders have done. It starts with an idea and ultimately comes across with a new solution to what's currently plaguing us. But I think having a hard head and thick skin and taking ownership would be three goals that would definitely help everybody in their careers.
And I have one more
Yes.
question. How do you handle it, and how do you put a better frame of mind on yourself when you've had a particularly bad day? How do you come out of a real bad day and turn it into a positive?
That just happened, so I can relate to that completely. I was listening to ESPN coming up here today, and there's a talk show host who's on in the morning. His name is Colin Cowherd. He's on from 10 in the morning till 1 o'clock, and I've told numerous people he's the smartest man on radio. And they were talking about Michael Jordan and the comparison between Michael Jordan and LeBron James for those of you that aren't familiar with basketball. And some of the statements that Michael Jordan had made were perceived as arrogant. But arrogance it wasn't, it was more confidence. And the statement that he made was, I've failed numerous times, and because of my failures, I've been able to succeed. And we're all going to have those days. And I just had a 2-day stretch with my current position, with what I do on a daily basis, and it was not pleasant. And at the end of the day, I said, this day is over. I put the day to rest, and I realized that tomorrow the sun would come up. Hopefully it would come up, and it looks like it's coming through right now with this pending storm upon us, but it's a new day. And that's the great thing when you're able to endure and survive. We've all had bad days where the boss has yelled, the report's late, something's not working, computer issue, a phone call from home, the kids, we're all doing it. You survive it, you get through it step by step, and then at the end of the day, you can say, I've survived it. Let's put this one to bed, wake up, and it's a new day. And your approach to the day is also something that has significant impact. If you say positive things to yourself, if you listen to music, if you listen to things that will bring your spirit up, so to speak, I don't know if many of you work alone or work in groups. There's things that you can do during the day that will ultimately impact a bad situation to ultimately make it better. It's on you to find those little boosts. If you're having a particular bad situation, there's nothing wrong with just stepping outside for 5 minutes, getting some air, refocusing and saying, okay, this isn't a good situation. I'm going to have to work my way through it. But ultimately, the pioneer mentality, being able to grind through things, will ultimately get that outcome. And if you think about the pioneers, people that were doing what they did in the 1800s, no heat, no food, right? These people survived and endured. I think we have that same mentality. So at the end of the day, you can be beat up, you can be wounded, but you've survived it. And you can say to yourself, tomorrow's a new day. And I know that sounds very, very Zen-like, but being able to survive it and endure it and then approach the new day that you can do anything, that would be something that would help your sanity and your psyche.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much. We have no more questions coming through right now.
Janice, one of the things I just like to put out there, as I tell everybody that I come in contact with, here's my contact information. Andrew Faccone, as you can see, William Paterson, 1989. There's my email address, aaf326@yahoo.com. Also, please reach out and connect. Any alumni, I'm on LinkedIn, Andrew A. Faccone. And then also follow me on Twitter, Andrew Faccone, one word, AndrewFaccone. Follow me. I try to tweet a lot of positive things and a lot of solutions to many of the challenges that we're all facing. So as I tell everyone, it's a good word and just something that'll kind of uplift you for those of you that are doing Twitter. So LinkedIn and Twitter, please reach out. And if there's any questions that anybody has on anything, I'd be more than happy to talk one-off with anybody, helping them achieve the goal that they're looking to achieve, or goals, or open up opportunities, or just discuss some things, please reach out to me, aaf326@yahoo.com.
Andrew, thank you so much today. Those of us who know you well know that you are a constant source of inspiration to everybody who you meet. I know you brighten my day every time I see you. Thank you again for hosting our webinar, for being our guest presenter today. We will have another webinar next month, so please, everybody, check your email for our new topic next month. And stay safe in this upcoming weather if you're on the Northeast. And we wish you a good afternoon. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Bye-bye.